Hi, how you doing? I see you. Good
See you.
afternoon.
How are you? Good afternoon.
Happy to see you. Thank you
Yes,
so much.
I'm happy to be here.
roam around with and basically trade.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I welcome you all to the trademark licensing class. So we're going to be waiting for others to join us. Hopefully, they'll join us soon. So let's wait for another 5 minutes. So after 5 minutes, we're going to start. Thank you very much.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So thank you for joining. So we're waiting for the remaining people to join us. So we
All
have a
right.
grace of about 5.
All
Yeah,
right.
so we'll start soon.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, so let's get right into it. Hopefully others will join us as soon as they can. Okay, so today's class is basically about trademark licensing, right? We're going to be exploring everything about trademarks, everything about licensing. Yeah. So permit me to share my screen, please. Let me share my screen so we can get started. So can everybody see my screen? Please, I need some response. Can anybody see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, amazing, amazing. Okay, so trademark licensing. So just before we get into it, I would like to introduce myself. Who exactly is the speaker And what does she do? So my name is Ololade Oloniyo. I am a multifaceted professional with experience in corporate commercial law, intellectual property strategy. That's why I said I'm multidimensional, right? So I have a background in project management as well. And I also do grant writing. Then of course, I'm a licensing expert, right? So I work with Stafford Legal Advisory. It's a full consulting firm in Lagos, Nigeria here. And we specialize in corporate compliance, basically legal advisory, legal structuring, and corporate compliance. Please, everybody, please mute yourselves. Quite important. Okay, so I'm also the lead at the IP Business Capital. I'm sure a couple of us on this group, we already know about, a couple of us on this call, we already know about the IP Business Capital. So what we do is we help entrepreneurs, creative entrepreneurs most especially, we help them get funded, right? We provide access to grant applications so they can scale their businesses. And of course, we help to develop strategic business plans, right? That can enable a creative to raise funds, because there are different strategies for raising funds, right? There are different ways for raising funds. So what we do is we help you to build sustainable businesses by raising funds through different strategies. It's either you can go through licensing, you can go through grants, or you can go through funding. Right, so that's basically about me. So what industries do I mostly work with? I work mostly in the entertainment space. I work in the creative industry as well. Retail and media, those are my baselines. You will find me there. I do a lot of intellectual property consulting along these industries. So what multinational companies have I worked with? The top most important multinational companies I've worked with are Morph Innovations. I've worked with Y Technologies. I've worked with Badmos Empire Store Limited. They are a fashion design company based in Lagos, Nigeria here. I've worked with Joe SL Limited as well, and so many others. So these are a couple of, the multinational companies I've worked with. Badmos Empire Store Limited has a retail company here in Nigeria, and they are also across Africa as well. Okay, so let's get started, right? Let's get right into it. So this class is trademark licensing. I am going to be debunking a lot of myths in this class. You can already see it on my screen, right? So I'm going to be talking, because in this part of Africa, people don't value intellectual property, let alone even say, okay, we want to create value from our IP, right? So I'm going to be focusing on this in this class. I will be debunking myths and explaining to you, why you need to start taking your intellectual property serious. If you want to make money, good money from it, so you have to start taking it serious. So everybody runs a business, right? I'm pretty sure that if you're in this class, you already have a business, you have a product, or you have a service, right? So now, if you have a product and a service, I hope you're aware that what drives your visibility in the market, to people who don't even know you, what drives your visibility in the market is the fact that somebody is telling somebody about your work. So there's somebody, to some extent, there's somebody who can refer somebody. I say, oh, they're doing well. Oh, they do this well. And that person can connect what you're doing to a brand name. I'm sure there's nobody here that is doing business that does not have a strategic brand name. And, I tell people, when you want to start business, you have to start your business well. You have to have the right brand name for your business in such a way that it carries all of your brand strategy. So what comes to mind what comes to mind first in the mind of the purchaser is the fact that there's a brand name. So your brand name is the first thing that comes to the mind of the consumers when they are deciding to make a purchase. That's the first thing they say. Oh, from even the first point of contact, they say, oh, the brand name. So people know access, right? People People know First Bank. People know Zenith. Zenith is a good brand. People know Zenith. People know Kuda Bank. Kuda Bank actually picked a very good brand name. People know Utiva. Those are brand names, right? Connected to specific products and services. So what does your brand name do for you? It establishes you as an identity, right? It will set you apart from the competition. Your customers are more likely to say, oh, that's that guy. Oh, that's that babe, right? So it gives you a solid identity in the market. It sparks a connection with the audience, right? People are like, oh, we know them. This is what they do. There's already that vibe between your audience and what you're selling. It is key to marketing, sales, and promotion. You see, I once heard a very senior executive. I mean, I know her. She works in the coaching and tech consulting space. You know, so when she was starting her business, I know people that have creative ideas, we just start things and we just name it. You say, this one is this one, and we are just naming. When she was starting her business, because she was a very creative entrepreneur, she was naming, you know, she would create one product, she would name. At some point, she had many products and people could not tie her to one thing. People could not say, oh, okay, this is what she's doing, because she was doing a lot. So it was many years after she now had to hire like a proper brand strategist and a proper intellectual property strategist on a team to look at all the various products she has created and to bring a harmonized name, right, to all those products that she's creating, because she was creating scattered products. And at some point, even when she was marketing, people could not even really say, oh, this is that. So when you have a solid brand strategy and you have a solid brand identity, you have a solid name to what you're doing, it is key to marketing, it's key to sales, it's key to promotion, and it's key to positioning. Don't ever forget that. So if you're going to be investing a lot in your brand name, you're going to be investing a lot in marketing, you know, sales, promotion, you're pushing this thing out. I had a call with a client yesterday and she was like, they are investing so much in their brand name, but yet they are seeing duplicates of what they are doing. They feel like there are some people who are, there's already a company that carries their same name, carries their same logo. Are you getting what I'm saying now? Carries the same name, carries the same logo, and doing the same IT consulting service. Everything the same. So they were not cautious enough to have started properly with an IP lawyer that can put them through and say, CEO, now that you're starting this, you have to be careful with your name. The name you're choosing will help you determine positioning in the market, will help you determine sales and all of that. So you have to have a way to harmonize all your products, right? And push something to the market so that the market can identify you as an entity in the system. And so you can be a bit competitive from others. So it was now later, they were now trying to think when it was now getting worse. They now started calling me and they started saying, okay, and this is what's happening. And I started to put them through on certain things. So if you're going to be making that kind of investment in your brand name, are we together? Can people hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, loud and clear.
Amazing. So if we're going to be making that kind of investment, right, into our businesses, into our products, so why do people think that the brand name is not worth protecting? I just want to throw that question open. So if we are doing lots of investment, right, into the promotions, into the sales, into the strategy, so why do people leave trademark aside? Why do people feel like there's no need to trademark their brand? And people just leave it there hanging until maybe people are not proactive about it, right? So what's the relationship between a brand name and a trademark? There's a connect between a trademark and a brand name. So every brand name has some unique differentiated elements in it, right? Every brand, there's a reason why you have a brand name. There are some elements involved in that brand name, right? There are some elements involved in that brand design, right? There's what comes, there's that brand name is coming from somewhere, right? So every brand name has some unique features and differentiated quality that makes it a brand. And when this identity becomes important to preserve, When you know that you're preserving an identity in the minds of your consumers, and you understand that this brand has a connection to positioning in the market, you will understand that it's important to preserve the identity in that brand. So in the absence of, so when you're preserving the identity in that brand, what you're doing is you're trademarking that brand. In the absence of a trademark, anybody from anywhere, I'm telling you, can just come and take advantage of the goodwill in your name. In the absence of trademark, anybody from anywhere can take advantage of the goodwill in your name. I can tell you this for free. I can tell you because why? We are now in the digital world and everything is going fast. Going fast. If you don't have an IP lawyer on your team who is helping you to monitor, who is helping you to enforce your trademarks, who is helping you to put together a strategy on how to create more value from your intellectual property, you will be missing out on a whole, especially when you have a big product, especially when you have a big vision for your brand, right? And you want to go global. Even if you're even staying in Nigeria alone, or you're staying in Kenya, or you're staying in South Africa, right? You must be proactive about it. So important. So if you succeed in protecting the name, it automatically means more right perception, more positioning, and more sales for you. What that means is that if you succeed in preserving the identity in that brand on a consistent basis, it's not something that you just do. You have to consistently enforce, you have to constantly monitor, right? You have to constantly put checks and balances in place to make sure that, look, if today I wake up and say I want to move into England, right, to start a business with my brand in England, I want to be sure that I'm fortified. Are you getting me? So we'll get to licensing very soon, but I'm just trying to show you the relationship between the trademark and the brand and the value it brings back into your business, right? So what is a trademark? A trademark is a registered brand of a company. We've talked about brand, we've spoken about. So when you register that brand, it becomes a trademark. If your company is in the business of creating a sustainable, I repeat, a sustainable product or service, then you must register your brand. I mean, I put the must there because it is important. Absolutely important. Absolutely important. Okay. So your brand is what is key to positioning, right? To positioning, marketing, and sales. Every brand investment is protected with a trademark. Note I said investment. It's okay if you decide to build a brand and you're just casual about it. But if you want to invest in your brand, a trademark is important. You must trademark your brand. Now, protection now gives you, so when you trademark your brand, it gives you an exclusive use to use that brand in specific markets that you have targeted. So it gives you that exclusive use to use that brand in specific markets that you have targeted. Quite important. Now, I want to talk about the mistakes that entrepreneurs make. You see, entrepreneurs in Africa, that's why the work that I do is focused on Africa. If you just take a little bit at what's happening in Europe, in UK and in the US, you see that they are more advanced with their IP. They are aware, they understand. But the work I'm doing is focused on Africa because entrepreneurs make mistakes with their intellectual property. Now, I will share with you some of the most important mistakes that entrepreneurs make. Making monetary investments in brands and brand names without registering them as trademarks. You make a lot of investments. Why do you start a business and open up yourself to a risk? People are investing so much in their brands, they're not investing in the trademark protection for that brand. Registering a trademark in a wrong class. I mean, there was a recent issue of a particular comedian who came up with a very amazing slogan here in Nigeria. I don't know if it has happened anywhere in Kenya or South Africa, because I understand that the people on this call are from different countries as well. And he came up with a very fantastic slogan and he went to register it in the wrong class. We don't know the person he consulted, I'm very sure he didn't consult a lawyer. I'm very sure he didn't, you know. And he went ahead and registered that trademark in the wrong class. And then years later, somebody picks up that trademark, starts to use it to promote their business because there's already a value, a goodwill in that trademark. Are you with me? So somebody picks it up and then goes ahead to use it to push their business in the market. And it comes back and is like, no, why would you do that? That's my trademark. And upon going back to the basics, when people started looking at the issue, we went back into the basics and we realized that the trademark was registered in the wrong class. You don't register your trademark in the wrong class and go ahead to invest in that trademark. You can't do that. Another thing you should not do is using your trademark without conducting a proper search. I see people just come up with names. They start investing in those names. They don't consult an IP practitioner to see if that name already exists in the market. You are very excited that you've gotten a creative name for your business, but you started wrongly. You're not conducting proper search. Using a trademark without a workable strategy. This one is rampant. You see people, they've registered the trademark now. The trademark is protected, but they don't have a strategy on how to make money with the trademark. They don't understand licensing. They don't understand merchandising. They don't understand IP valuation. And a lot of people they're not even, because, you know, it's not popular, right? So people invest in their trademark, people register it, then they leave it. They don't consult any IP practitioner on how to make more money or develop a strategic plan on how to make money from their intellectual property. They're not speaking with a professional to identify the right kind of brand asset. This one is common. You see people who will not even consult any professional at all, because there are different assets you're creating in your business. If you're paying attention to what you're doing in your business, you're creating assets. You're creating things in your business, but you need to know the strategy, the more important assets. You need to understand the brand assets. What are the brand assets I'm creating in my business? You know, how can I analyze these assets, which will bring more value to me? You need to be able to understand these things before you even start saying you want to get into any form of protection. And that's where the help of a practitioner comes, of an IP practitioner comes in. They will help you look at it from the full spectrum, you know, look at it holistically and come up with a strategy on the right kind of brand asset to protect in your business. So we're going to be having a short break now. I think I've said a whole lot. We're going to be having a short break right now. So in that short break, I just want you to tell me in the comments section, you know, what you have categorically learned, right? What has stood out to you in the past 15 minutes that I've been talking? What has stood out to you? So just tell me in the comment section, what have you learned? What has stood out to you? So let's get to that. Tell me in the comment section what you have learned. I'll be waiting. Can anyone hear me? Okay, I'm seeing some comments already. Good. Okay, let's keep it coming. Let's keep our comments coming. Let's keep our comments coming. So let's keep our comments coming. Just a minute, please. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of comments right now, quite interesting. A lot of comments. Okay, so let me read them out. Okay, so Ruth says it's not enough to pour money into registering a business name and leaving out your trademark. You know, Charles says, I'm learning a lot about the mistakes that entrepreneurs make. Yes. Ifeoluwa says, knowing what brand asset to register as a trademark is key. I guess Timothy is asking a question. We will get to questions just before we round up. Registering my brand name as a trademark gives me exclusive use to it. Exactly, Bumi. Thank you so much for that. Exactly. So we'll get right into it. There's already a form. There's already a form right now. There's the form for a feedback form. Feel free to fill it as we go on during this class. Okay, so let me keep sharing my slide, right? I was off for a moment. Let me keep sharing my slide so that we can get right into it. I'm really enjoying this class. Yeah. Okay, so we are back again at it. Okay, so we are now looking at what can you trademark, right? So what's the next thing that you can trademark? Quite important. You can trademark your business name. You can trademark your business name. You can trademark your logo. You can trademark your slogan. Very, very important. So you can trademark your business name. You can trademark your logo. You can trademark your slogan. Please note that a trademark protection is not the same thing as a business name registration. A lot of people mix it up. It is not the same thing, please. They are quite different. A trademark registration, a trademark protection, okay, so I guess my internet went off at some point in time. Okay, so moving on right now, we are looking at, where were we before now? So we're looking at what can you trademark, right? What exactly can you trademark? So I mentioned that you can trademark your business name, you can trademark your logo, and you can trademark your business name, you can trademark your logo, and you can trademark your slogan. Yes, I mentioned that. Okay, so let me just share my screen again so we can get right into it. So can everybody hear me now? Amazing, amazing, amazing. Okay, great. So whatever it is, you can trademark your business name, you can trademark your logo, you can trademark your slogan. Please note that there's a difference between your trademark protection and your business name registration. They are not the same. They are quite different. In fact, as a matter of fact, the fact that you have a business name registered does not necessarily mean, thank you very much, does not necessarily mean that your trademark is registered. They are two different things. They're not the same. So now we get to the most juicy and interesting part of it. Can you license your trademark? You can see my screen. It's a big yes. It's a what? It's a big yes. It's a big yes. You can license your trademark. Okay. So what is trademark licensing? Trademark licensing is simply about giving out, your brand to others for a period of time in exchange for money or fees. So it's more like you're giving out an asset that your company has. But you see, the tricky part about licensing is that you can't give out what you don't believe in. If you feel like your brand is not an asset, if you feel like your trademark is not an asset, you won't even think about licensing. It won't come to mind. You won't think about it, right? So you have to give what you believe in. So that's why, the mindset of, helping entrepreneurs to see the value in their trademarks is what leads them into licensing. If a person does not believe in his brand, if a person does not believe in his trademark, if a person does not understand the value in a trademark or a brand, they won't think about licensing it. And this is where the help of an IP professional comes in, right? They will help you see and create those roadmaps within your businesses on how you can actually make the best use of your intellectual property. There are different types of licensing. Trust me. The first type is the brand licensing. Here, business partners will partner with other brands for commercial purposes. And this is most applicable with business owners, media organizations, among brands and the likes, right? So there's always that partnership. There's always that connection with brands, where brands are licensing their brands to other institutions. I'm sure we've seen Nike. Nike has done a whole lot of brand licensing in the past, and it keeps coming, right? So another type of licensing that we have is the character licensing. It's mostly applicable in the food and beverage sectors, mostly in the retail sectors, in the fashion industry, right? So what character licensing does for you is that it helps you to strengthen the profile of your brand without necessarily incurring costs for advertising. So you get into a licensing agreement with an organization that shares, or with another brand, with another industry that shares your core value. They believe in the same things that your mission is about. You approach them for a licensing partnership, right? And then you license a character. What that character means is that that character is more like there's certain features in your product, certain features in your branded assets. Again, you can't see these things if you're not attuned to seeing the value in your IP. You won't see it. It's only when your mind is open to, oh, I have value in this trademark. There's something I'm creating that is valuable. I can get into licensing agreements with organizations that share in our mission, organizations that want to strengthen their brands, or it could even be vice versa. It might be that you are the one that wants to strengthen your brand with those institutions. So, right, so what that does is for you is that it helps you to reach new markets. You can partner with, because I believe that people who are on this call are even Africans, right? You can partner with an institution in Kenya, right, that has a very close mission, core value with yours. You see that their product line is kind of complementary with your product line. You see that there are certain assets in your business that you can lease out to them in return for royalties. And you guys come to a table, you negotiate the licensing fees, you negotiate the contracts, and boom, your product is in another market, in another country. They are selling it on your behalf and you are collecting royalties right in your country where you are. Are you beginning to see the possibilities? Are you beginning to see the possibilities that comes with licensing? So recently, Skechers and Sneakers, a famous international footwear, they partnered with another fashion brand in China. Their brand design was featured on the products of that fashion brand in China. And that was how they created a new market for themselves in China. We hardly hear about those things here in Africa. We do hear about it. So these are things that we can start looking at. The people that missed this class, I pity them, because what I'm saying in this class, they can't find it anywhere. They can't find it anywhere. Okay, so we can see how powerful character licensing is. I mean, so interesting concept. See how a fashion brand, see how a footwear entered into another market in China on the basis of licensing. And what did they even license? They licensed the white, cream, and black color features on their pieces of design. That's what they licensed. See how interesting that is. I mean, that's what they licensed. They licensed just a character feature in their product because they see the value in that product. Another type of licensing, which I believe is common here in Nigeria, is the film and the content licensing. It is mostly applicable in the video, entertainment, games industry. We have seen examples of film licensing where Netflix actually acquired, Kunle Afolayan's Thriller in one of his amazing movies, right? Those are film licensing. Now, Kunle Afolayan didn't just get there. Let me tell you, Kunle Afolayan had been strategically thinking about his branded assets, right? And to see how we can leverage them into international markets. The thing didn't just fall upon Kunle Afolayan like that. He must have been thinking about it, right? That look, we have certain assets that we can sell, because this is acquisition now. We have certain assets that we can lease out, that we can sell to people and get money back. And they did pay him heavily for this. So you see partnership agreements between Iroko TV, Film One Entertainment Industries partnering with Prime Amazon. All of that is what? Partnering with Prime Studios, Amazon Studios, all of that is what? Content licensing. Are we together? And all of this is done through licensing and contracts. So guess what? People are making money from licensing. Look, I want us to begin to open our minds to how important people are making money from fashion branding, from licensing, but it doesn't happen overnight. Creative fashion entrepreneurs, are making value from their branded assets because they know the value in the asset, but this doesn't happen overnight. Are we together? So most of these entrepreneurs that are making money from licensing, they actually have a plan. They had a plan for licensing in their business model. They had a plan for merchandise in their business model. Are we together? And so let me tell you something about having a licensing model. It will differentiate you in your industry. Why? Because not everybody is thinking about it. You will stand out. It's vague. The concept of licensing is vague to many entrepreneurs. But if you are thinking about it early enough in your business, you will stand out in your industry. Mark those words. Those words are you can take it anywhere. You can quote me anywhere. If you start thinking about licensing, you will make a mark in your industry. So what are the benefits? I've been talking about licensing. What are the benefits of licensing? Brand growth. You will grow your brand. I gave an example of how Kunle Afolayan got into a content licensing partnership with Netflix. I gave an example of how Skechers and Sneakers, got into a branded partnership with another organization in China. They have entered, why do you think Kule Afolayan is great? They have entered markets and territories that people have not entered. They have developed their brands in those countries. So, and let me tell you, it's not even only international brand recognition. You can also get a local brand recognition by getting into strategic licensing deals. Yes, you can do it, especially when you're just starting. So it gives you that brand growth. Another thing is that you enter foreign markets. I've said that already. You're getting into with little or no cost. Why? Because there's already that collaboration and partnership, going on, right? With little or no money, people are willing to invest because the value of what you have. That is capable of, bringing something massively new to that territory and to that regime. So people are getting deals done with little or no costs, just on the basis of, look, we understand our branded assets. We know what our branded assets can do for your business in this licensing agreement. And we are sure that it will deliver well. So there's that customer awareness too, right? There's that more brand recognition. People get to know about your work. People get to know about your brand, and all of that is going on. You have access to great partnerships and collaborations. Now, here's the word of caution. You can't be doing all of those investments that I've mentioned locally and internationally if you don't protect your investments. You can't leave your business naked. You can't get into partnerships, get into brand agreement, get into licensing, enter local and international markets without doing what? Without doing the needful. You will be at risk. Only those who are at risk, the people who are at risk, are those who have left their brands unprotected. And that's why at the beginning we mentioned trademark protection is important. That's why we mentioned trademark protection is important, because you can't be doing all of those investments on an international level and you don't have specific trademarks in those regions to protect that investment. In fact, when you're getting into a licensing deal, one of the things that the licensee would ask you, or the licensor, peradventure, let's use the licensee in this situation. One of the things they will ask you is your brand protected? Is a key question, because there's a lot of risks involved if your brand is not protected. So that's why you have to be keen on your trademark registration from the start, from the very beginning. You have to be keen on your trademark registration. You have to be keen on monitoring. You have to be keen on enforcement. You can't leave all these things to chance if you're building a massive brand. What are the important clauses to negotiate? When getting into a licensing and partnership deal, what are the important things that you have to negotiate? You can't negotiate yourself. You have to get a proper IP lawyer to negotiate for you. You must negotiate the terms and the termination. Terms and termination, right? You need to provide a right to terminate early if revenue is not received. On the other side of it, that's why when choosing licensing partners as well, you have to be strategic. You have to know those ones that have a market in those regions. Are you getting me? You have to know the people that have a market, right? So there are instances where you can get into a licensing, situation and revenue is not coming. If you have a terms and termination clause there that states that within 1 year, if so and so doesn't happen, we will terminate. So these are the things to take into consideration. The guidelines for the usage of your trademark, you're giving out your brand, you're giving out your trademark. I'm assuming that your trademark must have been registered at this point in time. So you want to have guidelines. You want to tell your people that, oh, this is how we use our marks. This is how we use our brands. This is how we use this. A couple of brand designers are on the call, and I'm sure that, they understand what I mean by brand guidelines. Very important. You want to have the clauses for royalties and compensation properly initiated. What I mean by that is properly explained, everything clear. Your IP lawyer is with you on the platform as well. You guys are negotiating exactly how the royalties will come in, and at what point in time you should be expecting compensation for the sale of your branded assets. Those things are very important. Those things are critically important. You must be able to negotiate those things. Another thing you need to be able to negotiate is your exclusive or non-exclusive rights. You get, before granting the exclusive contract, you need to be sure if you're ready to go into an exclusive contract. What an exclusive contract means is that you're giving this person a sole right to use that brand asset. You're giving this organization, you're giving this institution the sole right to use that asset. And when you're doing that, you need to be sure that, okay, if I'm giving this organization the sole right to use this brand assets, I'm going to get the returns. Now, what people do is people mostly do non-exclusive. They give those branded assets out to about 5 to 6 licensees. Are you with me? And those people will now start, sending money back to them in form of royalties. So they give it out. They give it to about 6 to 7 organizations with strategic markets. And you start getting those returns back. So that's what most people do. That's what most organizations do. So you want to look at it. Do you want an exclusive? Do you want a non-exclusive? All of that has to be negotiated before you round up the discussion for the licensing. So what is the next step? Let me tell you, my people on this call, you need to be able to identify your most valuable IP assets. You can't be doing business and you don't have an idea of what your IP assets are. You need to get into it. You need to have a viable business structure. You want to tap into the opportunities that comes with intellectual property management. You want to tap into the opportunities that come with your brand assets and your IP assets. You need to have a legal structure. You need to have a structure operationally. You need to have a legal structure within your business. So important, a viable business structure. You need to have a licensing plan. Nobody gets into licensing without having a plan. Go ask anybody. Nobody does it. I mean, recently, Sony Pictures, they got into a very big global partnership and brand management deal. Did that just come by chance? They had it in their, it was in their corporate strategy. They had it there. I even listened to one of the interviews from the lead of the global partnership team, not quite long. They have it there. It's a part of their business model. Right? So you want to get into things like that, you need to have it as a part of your business model. You need to have a robust knowledge of IP. You can't be a creative entrepreneur creating new things. You don't understand IP. No way. And that's why if you're not a part of our hub, the IP Business Capital Hub, you need to join, because from now to the end of the year, we'll be having series of classes on how to capture value with your IP. We'll be having it back to back. So you need to join the IP Business Capital Hub. If you don't, so you need to join the hub. You get access to resources, you get access to materials. You need to join the hub. So you need to have a robust knowledge of IP. Very, very important. So I wrote a text, right? It's called How to Profit from Your Intellectual Property. It's not just the regular kind of text, I can assure you. I mean, it contains all the valuable information you will ever need to know about the basics of intellectual property. You're a creative entrepreneur, you want to get started with IP. You want to understand what intellectual property is, right? You want to have answers to some of the practical questions, right? That comes to your mind even as a business owner. You will get all the answers in my book. What's so special about my book is the fact that, it was written in a story format. I didn't just sit down to write tech, because IP is a bit, I didn't just sit down to write technical things. It's full of stories, relatable stories about your intellectual property, about the various types of intellectual property you can be able to create in your business, some of the issues that entrepreneurs have with IP, how those issues can be resolved, what are the pain points, what are the specific things to look at, everything in story format. Quite interesting book. So you can see it here even on the screen. Specifically written for creative entrepreneurs. Storytelling and easy to understand. It's not just the regular kind of text, I can guarantee you. Why do you need to get the text? You need to get the text because it will explain to you the different types of IP assets. It will help you identify the unique IP assets in your business. You will know the different ways to go about protection. Are you with me? So these are some of the interesting things about my book. You will see highlights or stories, major pitfalls, let me put it that way, that entrepreneurs make with their IP. You see strategic examples of some of the, real daily life challenges that entrepreneurs face with IP. And you will see some of the mistakes that entrepreneurs have made that you shouldn't make with your IP, okay? So the book right now is 3,500 in the Naira valuation right now. So it's 3,500 for Naira. It goes for $12 for what? It goes for $12 for those who are not in Nigeria and those who want to buy it outside Nigeria. Can you imagine? Look at how, look at the price, I mean. So this is an opportunity for you to get the text as soon as you can. As soon as you can, because Friday, 19th of August, we are going to be moving up. I mean, it's too good to be true that this kind of a text will go for $12 and will go for $12 and 3,500, right? So August 12th is going to be moved up to 5,000, right? So you have a chance right now to quickly get a purchase of my book. It goes for 3,500 for the Naira and also for the equivalent. If you want to purchase for Naira, you can click on the link to purchase for Naira. If you want to purchase for dollar, you can click on the link as well to purchase for dollar. So let me just, give me a minute. Let me just type out the link in the chat box so it will be easier for everybody to access. Just a minute, please, everybody. So we have the link already for those who want to purchase in Naira, right? So if you want to purchase in dollars as well, you can just take a screenshot of this particular, slide to get the exact link to make your purchase. I would attend to questions soon, so please let's just hold on. I'll attend to questions soon. So you can take a screenshot, right, of this particular, you can take a screenshot of this particular slide so you can have all the details in respect to making your purchase, right? So please make your purchase as soon as you can. We're going to be moving up the price on Friday, 19th of August. We're going to be moving because the book is value loaded, trust me, value loaded. Another second edition of the book is coming. It's the first edition, but it's value loaded. The second edition is going to be coming soon, and that one will be super, super value loaded. You can take my words on that. You can take my words on that. Okay. I want to be sure that people who want to take a screenshot of this particular slide, they have done that already. I want to be sure. Okay, so somebody says, please, can you avail us your bank account details to transfer? Okay, so where are you speaking from? Are you speaking from Nigeria or outside Nigeria? Just tell me in the chat box, please. Are you calling in from outside Nigeria? You're calling in from Nigeria. So I can send you the appropriate account details. So please, once you get the message, okay, you're calling in from Nigeria. Okay, amazing. Amazing. You will get the account details. Are you on are you a part of the IP Business Capital Hub? Please let me know in the chat box if you're part of the IP Business. Okay. Fantastic. You're a part of the IP. Fantastic. So I will reach out to you to send you my account number. I will reach out to you. Okay. Just one more last question for business partner, please. What's your real name? I mean, is this your name on the IP Business Capital Hub? Or okay, so I've already unmuted you, please. Okay. So be rest assured, okay, you will get a message from me. Be rest assured, you get a message from me. Okay, so moving on, right? Moving on. Please, there will be time for questions very soon. So moving on, so we also offer trademark and IP registration services in Africa, right? That's what we are made for. I mean, I remember at the beginning of this class, I spoke about the fact that we are focused on Africa, right? So we do trademark registration in Nigeria, we do IP registration in Africa, we do trademarks in Africa as well, right? So we do all of that, okay? So we also provide legal advisory services. If you're outside Nigeria and you're looking to, establish a business here in Nigeria, we are your best plug, okay? So for legal advisory services, right? So please feel free to send me an email if you like to protect your IP in Africa. Feel free to send me an email if you like to protect your IP in Africa and in Nigeria. So you can check out my screen right now. I have an email here, staffieldbees@gmail.com. Okay, so please send me an email. Once you send me an email, we will schedule a pre-interview call, right? We'll schedule a short pre-interview call, and then we can have a meeting officially. So I can get to, we can get to have a conversation about what exactly you're looking to achieve. Very important. Please, I don't receive calls, right? Please, between now and next week, in next weeks, I'll be quite busy. So I won't be taking calls, but you can send me a mail or you can send me a message, right? If you're part of the IP Business Capital Hub, you can send me a message. You can send me a mail. Send a mail to staffieldbees@gmail.com. I won't be taking calls. I just thought to put that through. I won't be taking calls. So please send me a mail to staffieldbees@gmail.com if you would like to get started with trademark registration in Nigeria and Africa, IP registration in Nigeria and Africa, and you want to get started with legal advisory services. I forgot to add too, right? We also help creative entrepreneurs with project design and grant funding. Okay, so if you're looking to get grants, right? If you're looking to get grants, if you're looking to structure your business so that you can get grants as well as a creative entrepreneur, you're looking for funding and you know that grant is one of the things you can do, reach out to me at staffieldbees@gmail.com. We'll be happy to help you. We'll be so happy to help you. I mean, that's what we do, right? So reach out to me at staffieldbees@gmail.com. I'll be glad to help you walk through your project design phase, your structuring for your company so that you can access funds. And of course, we would also help you. We would also help you with, you know, grant applications as well. So yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Toast Bright. Feel free to reach out to me, okay? Send an email to staffieldbees@gmail.com and we can take it on from there, okay? So just before we take our questions, please let's fill the feedback form. Okay, let's fill the feedback form. So here's the feedback form. We would like to hear from everybody, okay? So the feedback form is on the group chat. Please check the chat. The feedback form is on the chat on this Zoom call. Please check the chat. Please fill it. I'd like to hear from everybody so we can see how to improve on what we're doing and how we can equally serve you better. Quite important for us. We take feedback seriously at the IP Business Capital. We take feedback seriously. So please fill the feedback form. Fill the feedback form. Yes, please fill the feedback form. Yes. Just before we take questions, I would like to introduce us to the IP Business Capital Hub. It's Africa's premier hub for local and international creative entrepreneurs. Are you with me? So the IP Business Capital Hub is what? Is a premier hub for local and international creative entrepreneurs in Africa, okay? So what we do is we educate creative entrepreneurs about intellectual property and how to create value from it. You see that that's what I've been talking about throughout this class. You are in for more if you join our hub. You're going to learn a whole lot. And the interesting thing is that it's free. I mean, so what else? For you to join the Capital Hub for now, it's free. We will start to monetize it later on, but for now it's free. So get the best that you can get while you can get it. We will help you get funding and grant opportunities at a cost. Okay? We help you get funding and grant opportunities at a cost. Educative programs are free, okay? But when it comes to putting together, you know, a licensing model for your business, that is paid. When it comes to helping you to assess grants, that is paid, okay? That is paid. When it comes to helping you to build your legal and operational structure so that you can build a sustainable business, that is paid. What is free is the educational webinars we'll be having, you know, from time to time. That's what is free, right? What is free is the educational webinars we'll be having from time to time. So in a nutshell, our mission is to educate, right? Educate entrepreneurs to get intellectual property knowledge and to create value from it. We help you get funded. We help you position for funding. We help you with the right legal and operational structures to build a sustainable business. So I've said before, our services are trademark registration, IP registration, Nigeria and Africa. We help you with grant writing and project design, okay? And again, no calls, okay? After this call, after this Zoom call, if you would like to get started, please don't call me. I will not be able to respond to calls, okay? You can send an official mail to staffieldbees@gmail.com. I will respond to your email immediately and we will get right into our discussion, okay? So please take note, staffieldbees@gmail.com, staffieldbees@gmail.com, okay? So right now, I guess it's time to open the floor. Right? So please fill the feedback form. We would love to hear from you. The feedback form is in the chat box. We would love to hear from you. We would love to hear from you. Very important. Please fill the feedback form. Okay, so right now, I guess it's time for questions, right? Okay. It's time for questions now. If you have any question.
Hello. Thank you, Josephine.
So please, because of the noise in the background, okay, Temitope wants to say something. Okay, so let me unmute you. Okay, so right now you can feel free to unmute yourself, Temitope.
All right. Think my interest actually is business. We understand it's the global world. It naturally can penetrate everywhere it goes. Especially when you're targeting diasporans, Nigerian diasporans. I want to have.
Oh, the line is breaking. Can you put your question in the chat box?
Are there things one needs to do regarding IP? All right. Okay. All right.
Your line is breaking. Your line is breaking.
Yes. Yes, I'm aware. Business. I will chat my question.
Temitope, your line is breaking. I can hardly hear you. For the sake of time, put your question in the chat box. Put your question in the chat box. Okay, for the sake of time, put your question in the chat box. Charles Bright, I can see your email. Please send us an official email if you would like to get into a conversation with me. Send me an official email to staffieldbees@gmail.com, okay? Okay, so let me get right into Temitope's question. Okay. Temitope says for a web-based business that wants to access the diasporan market, how best do you go about that? For a web-based business that wants to access the diaspora market, how best do you go about that? Well, that's basically a function of what you're looking to achieve, right? So what's your objective in terms of going into another market? Do you want to build strategic relationships? Do you want to expand your brand? You know, are you looking to get into specific niched markets, right? So there are different ways to go about that. So it depends on what exactly you're looking to achieve, right? It depends on what exactly you're looking to achieve. If you want to get into licensing partnerships, we've explained that during the call, right? There are certain things you need to have in place. I said you need to identify your IP assets. You need to identify your IP assets. You need to be familiar with the market you're getting into. You need to be familiar with the key stakeholders in that market. You need to be sure that they will be capable of actually, you know, helping you to expand whatever it is you want to expand in the market. So it begins with you, right? What are you guys looking to achieve? So what you're looking to achieve would determine how best you can get into those markets. For a web-based business, it is based on what you're looking to achieve, actually. So I don't know if I answered that question, Temitope. Amazing. Okay, so I can see another person's hand up. Okay,
Hello, good evening.
good evening.
Okay, I've just sent a mail to that email. My main focus is on the grant. Okay, that's my main focus. So, what are the steps? And just want to know every information I need to know to start and to finish everything.
Okay, I see. You want to get all the information, you know, you can't have all the information at once because it's a whole lot, but I will
Especially
tell you specific.
like the fees.
What?
Like the fees, especially like the fees. That's
The
what I'm,
fees.
yes.
Yes, okay, that's a good question. We'll have to get on a call to discuss the fees for that. So send me an email to Starfield B, so because I need to know what you're looking to
I've done
achieve.
that. I've done that already.
You sent me an email at Starfield B's.
Yes.
Okay, definitely. I'll reach out to you. I would
Okay.
reach out to you. Good. Okay, I can see another person's hand up. Okay, so I see Temitape's question here. It says, what would you need to trademark in each country? And is there a one-fit approach for all? So right now, when you want to trademark your trademark in Africa, let's say Africa, for example, right now, if you're looking to have a trademark in certain countries in Africa, you need to be sure that you're going into those markets, right? You need to be sure that there's a market for you there before you begin to say you want to trademark, because you're moving your product into those markets. So that's the first thing you need to identify. Clarity of markets, important. Secondly, we have a platform we use for filing trademark applications across Africa. It's called the OIP, right? So if you want to get your trademark into 17 countries in Africa, we would help you do the trademark filings to get that done, right? So it has to be strategic. It has to be tailored to the markets you're looking to push your products and services into. And two, there's a particular platform that we use, right? So in terms of what you need to get your trademark, you know, to be done in those particular, to get your trademark to be filed in OIP, right? So you will need relevant informations like the power of attorney, your class of goods and services. That's a bit technical. You might not really understand that, right? We need, you know, samples of the description of your brand. We will need whether it's a name, a logo, or a slang or a slogan that you want to register. We will need that as well. We will need the name and details of applicants. We will need to run a search. It's a whole lot, right? It's a whole lot. But if you're willing to get started, just send me an email, starfieldbees@gmail.com. We will get started on that with you. Okay. Temitape's hand is still on, is still up. Does anybody have any question, any other question? Okay, so business partner says, what are the services one can license for trademark in consulting, advisory, investment, trading? Can you elaborate on the renewal of license and the time interval to renew? How can we turn trademark into investment assets? Beautiful question, beautiful question. So what are the kinds of things that can be licensed for trademark? I've mentioned that before, right? I've mentioned that your brand can be licensed for trademark. I've mentioned that your content can be licensed. If you're into consulting and advisory, you can start working on how to, get into the licensing market with your content. There's something called content licensing, right? So you have to have a strategy on how to get started with licensing your your content. The content you're licensing is basically your intellectual property. There's a way you can harness the IP of your employees in your company. That's what PwC does. That's what KPMG, that's what they do. They are into content licensing. They know that they have expertise. They know that they understand the consulting space. So they gather information from their employees and they sell it at a cost. So that's content licensing, right? So that's part of content licensing. You can license your content out to third parties in the sphere of consulting and advisory. In trading, there are different kinds of things you can license for trading. I've mentioned that before. In the food and beverage sector, you can license your brand, you can license your name, you can license your logo. Nike does that a lot. They license their logo out to other, institutions. You can license the characters in your brand. I've given examples of that during the class. On the renewal of license and the time of interval to renew, that's specifically based on the negotiation between yourself and the licensee. Remember, I mentioned during the class that you need to have a time for termination. Also, you also need to have a time for renewal of license. So that's based on the arrangement that you're having with the licensee. It's a solely exclusive arrangement. So you guys have to work around a structure and a contract management approach, right? So that you can be able to account for the time when the license will be over, the time when the license will be renewed, and furthering. All of this will be inside the contract licensing agreement. So it's a sole negotiation. It's based on the negotiation between the licensee and the licensor. How can you turn trademark into investment asset? That one is another separate class. That one is another separate class, okay? It takes a whole lot. I mean, you have to be thinking about, like I said, you need to have a business plan. It has to be a strategy behind it, and that's what we do, right? So if you get the if you want to get started, you can send me a message, send me an email at staffybiz@gmail.com. You will get started on that as well. So you can turn your trademark into investment asset. It's a whole lot of plan along the value chain of the products and services you're creating. So there's a strategy around that, okay? And so if you like to get started, send me an email at staffybiz@gmail.com. We'll get started on that with you. So are there any other questions? Okay, Otis says he wants to know if we have packages for authors with regards to soliciting for funds and registration. What do you mean by soliciting for funds? Do you mean grants, grant writing, or grant applications for authors? And what do you mean by registration? Do you mean the registration of, do you mean copyright registration for authors? So please let me really understand your question. Let me really understand your question, Otis. Okay, yes, of course. Thank you very much for responding quick, Otis. Yes, of course, there are grant packages for authors. We can look at, what you're doing, right? See how we can create an impact model around it, right? Based on the sustainability of what you're doing. You can look at it, create an impact model, create a logic reasoning behind it, and of course, get you into the game. Because when it comes to funding, funders fund your why. So there must be a why. If you have a strong why behind authoring books, if you are an author and you have a strong why behind the content you're creating. Why not? We can work around it and get you funded. Then for trademark registration, of course, if you want to trademark whatever it is you're creating, we can do that for you as well. Okay, so if you want to get started, send an email to starfieldbees@gmail.com. Okay, I'm going to put it again in the chat, starfieldbees@gmail.com. Send an email, let's get started, okay? starfieldbees@gmail.com. I'm still waiting for more questions. Okay, I'm still waiting for more questions. What an interesting class. So as we keep waiting for more questions, please kindly fill the feedback form. We would like to hear from you. Please fill the feedback form. Okay. Please fill the feedback form. We would like to hear from you so that we can improve on what we are doing. Any other question? If you have your question, please put it in the chat box. Could I share some IP cases? Business partner says he wants to hear some IP cases. Okay, if you're on the group chat, are you a lawyer? That's even the first thing. Okay, that's fine. If you're on the group chat, if you're a part of the IP Business Capital Hub, you will get some IP cases from me as well, okay? Because we are almost rounding up. It's about 3 minutes to get rounded up with this class. So if I'm going to be sharing some IP cases with you, that will be definitely on the IP Business Capital Hub, right? So let me put out the link. If you want to join the IP Business Capital Hub, you can join by this link. Let me quickly put out the link so you can be a part of our community, our growing community. Okay, so that's the org. Be rest assured that you will get everything you want, right? You get most of the important information that you're looking out to reach out to me for that you can't get in this class, right? Because of time. Okay, so join the IP Business Capital Hub and we'll take it right from there, okay? Mr. Goke wants some IP cases, so you can join the IP Business Capital Hub. You get this information there. Okay. In the absence of any question, we should be rounding up soon. It was a pretty amazing class, you know. For all those who joined the class, thank you so much. We'll be having series of IP management classes going forward, and I'll be happy to come back on the call to also explain to you on how you can make the most of your intellectual property. So it's about time we round up. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so, so much. Okay. Okay, so those are the links. Those are the link to purchase the text. Those are the link to purchase the text. This link is the one for the dollar link. Okay, to purchase the text in dollars, you can get it here. To also purchase in Naira, you can get it here as well. Okay, cool stuff. Cool stuff. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining in. Thank you so much. Thank you, Oluwabumi. Thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed the section. Thank you, Ifeoluwa. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed the section. Thank you, Otis. I'm glad you enjoyed this section as well. Thank you very much. Okay, so right now we end the class. Thank you everybody for joining in. Enjoy the rest of your evening.